of Starseed Activations. Welcome, guys. So today's affirmation card is today I am happy. Today, happiness and love will fill my heart and soul all day. So that is just absolutely beautiful, and I wanted to share it with each and every one of you guys. Thank you so incredibly much for tuning in to another episode of Starseed Activations. We have a bunch of questions. There's a lot of them tonight, so we're going to just dive right in. So the first question is release and receive. Now, when we go through these certain solar energetic shifts, as star people are saying, it actually allows for our energetics to do a sort of release and then receiving new energy. Now, a thought is electrical in its nature. And so we know for a scientific fact that the solar energies are having an impact on the way all people think. This is actually why we're going through a spiritual revolution right now. So people are waking up, and the masses are waking up to the spiritual knowledge. We can actually take a look at such things like the Amazon sales of things like tarot cards, crystals, any type of UFO information. All of this information is promoting in sales. So we can see that it's the entire collective consciousness that's actually becoming aware of the extrasensory world as well as the extrasensory abilities the star people are saying. Now, this is very important because when we realize many of us star seeds have grounded in this information first. So we knew the information, and we had to wait a little while before we actually saw it reflect into the consciousness grids of the entire civilization. Now we're starting to see it's kind of like the 100 monkey effect kick into place. And so more people are starting to waken up, and the masses are going through an entire revolution in the way people think. So the way that this works is releasing the old paradigms. So the way that we used to think, it has to change or shift in order to bring or manifest new information, new creative thoughts, a new way of thinking, a new being is being born at this exact moment. So we just currently went through a release. Now that release, when we feel it, we feel other people getting triggered. We may have been called in to do shadow work. Aches and pains may have manifested for us, and that's okay too. When we have an ache or pain that is manifest, that means that your body is sending you a signal of a particular area in the energetic grid that needs more love and attention in order to fully rebalance and recode it back to your source frequency coding. So whenever we start to see, oh, okay, there's a pain here, there's an ache there, or even a tension or tightness. Now, that relationship in the internal circumstance of the body is key, because when you drop into any form of meditation, you want to start feeling and sensing inside of your body. How does your body make you feel? How do you feel? Any tension, any tightness? If you guys can spot check, it's the star people stepping forward. They're saying it is a biological systems check. And so what they do is, they do this, they use technology, but we can do it with our mind. And so you're actually pulsing the meridians and the ley lines. In the center of that is a little vortex of energy. This is where the acupuncturist would put the needles inside the body. And so, because that's all where the ley lines cross with the meridians. Now, when we start to go inside each and every one of them, we don't have to know where they are. We can just tell the subconscious mind, activate all of the vortexes in the grids and pulse them so you can see where any density is. Now, when we see or sense or feel density, it's going to change the body's flow of energy. Now, this is why things like Qigong is so important, because your hands are actually transmitters and receivers of energy. And so when we rub our hands, we clap 3 times, we take the hands over the body, we can feel that warmth. That warmth is our chi energetic system. So when we start to do this, now the more you guys place focus and attention on your energetics, you're going to be able to feel the energetics further and further out. Now, if you guys do manifestations as well, this is really important for somebody here watching is an advanced healer, and they need to fully activate this, as star people are saying. So when you drop into that meditation, you can cast your energetic field double or triple the space. And so we want to do that in meditation, because what we're actually doing is we are calling down that source frequency and we are consciously radiating it further. And when we do things like that, then all of a sudden, when you walk through a room of people who are, let's say they're just sitting in meditation, so they're not focused on their phones, they can feel the energy shift as you walk through the room. This is also very important because different affirmations can be programmed into the energetics, which then in turn start a healing process. Some people have a chaos encoded grid who are also watching this particular live stream. And the star people are saying, when you show up, it seems like everybody gets triggered. Even though you don't do anything, you just witness, and that's okay too. When you start to notice that pattern, that means that your energetic grid is magnetically encoded to automatically release. So if we have a look at a magnet, because they want me to explain this further, this is a crystal magnet. One side is north, one side is south. Now, north is giving, and south is pulling the energy. So when we talk about a chaos encoded individual, they're south. They're pulling the darkness off of the grid, which automatically starts a cycle repeat, which in turn generates chaos and confusion to manifest in the now moment. So it's basically like working with the void, because a void is void of love. So it's chaos and confusion. It's connected. It's that lower frequency range. This is okay. Some people need to be programmed to that type of magnetism. That doesn't mean that they can't change it, but that just means that their magnetism in the energetic grid is encoded to trigger people so that that's a form of healing. Not only that, but when we start leveling up that ability to the 10th degree, the star people are saying, it allows them to generate a void and start working with dark matter, which all life is birthed inside of darkness. So you cannot have light without darkness. They go hand in hand. You cannot see the light and then see the shadow. It has one and the same. It's just a void of light. That's what the void is. It's one frequency range. The light is very high frequency. The void starts the slowing down process until it stands still. Time stands still in the void. Time goes very rapidly when you're in a higher frequency range. So this whole system is all connected. So whoever it is that's watching this, who's a void worker, you have the ability to cast that magnetism, which is a southbound, and then removing the density from other people's energetic grids. It may seem like a curse because there may be a lot of chaos around you, but that's okay too, because in time, when you learn how to truly harness the ability, the star people are saying, there are great things that can be birthed in darkness. So just take that as a sign of hope, and you'll know who you are, because the star people usually give full body chills. And so if you're listening to this and like all the little hairs stand up and you're like, that's me, that's you. Okay. So the second question, when something is in alignment, and how do we know when something is in a misalignment? Now, this is very, very particular, because when we start to see, is something in alignment for me? What does that even mean? How do we know? So whenever things are in alignment, they're going to be happening very rapidly. Whenever you raise your frequency and you go back into, let's say, a situation or location, or you're surrounded by people who are of the old life or the lower frequency, it may not feel comfortable to be around those people. That's how you know it's not in alignment anymore. That does not mean to break ties with your family or your people or your friends. That just means it's okay to take a step back and to maintain your own frequency and to focus on yourself for a little while and see how things pan out. That's okay too. Now, knowing when something is in alignment, you always want to utilize the heart, because your heart is never going to steer you wrong. If you guys have any emotions or thoughts of, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, that's telling you that, okay, maybe you need to second guess what you're doing as far as making a move. But if your heart is 100% in it, there's always going to be that drive and determination where you know you're going to make it happen regardless of the situation, right? And so whenever you take those baby steps, it's in alignment because everything will come to you to allow you to do exactly what you are meant to do. Now, there's different types of willpower abilities that each and every one of us can use. Now, the willpower is that determination. So when we will something into the holographic simulation, it actually gives us a moment where we can shift the timelines. So I want you guys to just realize many times people think, and it's okay to have this perception. It's only a perception. It's only an experience. But it's okay to think that your entire life is pre-planned. It's only an experience. That's not, really stepping into that full willpower. And we were given free will to choose or select what it is that we wish to manifest. So when we start to choose and select according to the heart's desires, then all of a sudden it puts us into that alignment in which we're in a rapid high frequency, and everything that we need in order to manifest it will fall at our feet. So when something is in alignment, it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be complicated. It's going to be very smooth. So you always want to be on the lookout for that. Is it very smooth, or is there bumps in the road? If there's bumps in the road, can I pivot and turn and still utilize the willpower to get it? Or is it something I feel like I'm constantly struggling on? So this is how we start to judge, is it in alignment for me? Sometimes the higher self knows that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, something better is coming. And so you may really want this, and it may not be in alignment. And when you released it, then the something else that was of a higher frequency will fall in your lap. So releasing is part of receiving. When we release any and all expectation inside of the physical reality, then it allows the higher self to fully control the simulation. The higher self can see the entire timeline. The higher self can see everything that you want or need or you will to manifest. The higher self can see everything because the higher self is you. Now, where the real power is coaxing that higher self down and allowing the higher self to take the seat in the heart chakra. Because when we start to utilize the higher self in this manner, we start to allow him or her to embody the physical. That means that your higher self becomes one energetically, and it bonds with you. When your higher self bonds with you, it will only do so when you are tapping into higher frequency ranges of love, joy, and bliss. Because that higher self came from a higher frequency of love, joy, and bliss. There has to be a frequency match. If there is no frequency match, the higher self will come down, and then the higher self will go back up. So the second that this process, and it usually, the star people is saying, usually it's we tune in, release, and then all of a sudden one day it's like our eyes open up. He's showing me, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, and it's solid. And the higher self will flower open the heart chakra, and it will be permanent. At that point, when the heart chakra is flowered open, you'll feel an energy swirl around the body. It's a vortex energetic. He's showing me, and it's green in its nature. And then the next process is opening up the pine cone, opening up your pineal gland chakra. Now, when we start to focus on the pineal gland, we start to utilize different breathwork meditations. Now, also, when we are doing different attachment removals, we use the breath, because when we open the breath through the mouth, it actually opens that heart chakra. When we fully fill up the lungs all the way to the tippy top, that heart chakra starts to open. So the breath always brings us life. Now, the more we can start to do that, and a lot of times people, they don't have time, or they'll tell themselves that they don't have time to do any breath work or meditation. That's okay too, right? We are living in the real world here. So it is what you guys feel drawn to do. But even if you can take one breath in this very moment, in this second, just everyone do it with me. Just feel that heart expand. Just feel that love radiating from the heart, and the star people are stepping forward in this moment, and they are also going to be doing a full energetic clearing on each and every person watching, allowing for your heart chakra to fully open and expand, allowing the emotion of pure love, joy, bliss, happiness, unity consciousness to be fully activated inside of your heart vortex energetic. And so they want each and every one of us to know that they are surrounding us, they love us, and they are guiding us along our ascension journeys. And so we just say many love and blessings to the star people. And thank you so incredibly much for the energetic healing. Okay. I feel amazing. I don't know about you guys. This is pretty cool. Okay. So utilizing free passes to activate emotions. Now, let me take a sip. When we utilize emotions, this is the main reason why many healers, we have to go through the process of really diving into the lower frequency ranges, going through all the traumas, all of the tribulations, all of the things that make us very, very toxic, low frequencies, very traumatic things. A lot of the advanced healers we go through, and that's okay too, because when we dive down into the low frequency ranges, it actually allows us to frequency match into the crystalline realm. The crystalline realm is love, joy, and bliss. So that's like 5D frequencies. You have to tune into the lower frequency range in order to tune in to the exact opposite in polarity of the high frequency range. So this is just the way a frequency bandwidth works. It's up and down, up and down. It has to be of equal polarity in order to fully allow. Now, when we go through every single dark emotion code that we have held, all of them, every single one from the time of birth, the dark emotion codes are the lower frequency range: sadness, misery, grief, sorrow, all of these emotions. This is okay to experience that. This is part of the human experience. We go through, we experience it, and then when we heal it, we have to come to a state of neutrality. So I am at peace with what is in my past. I'm at peace with all of my memories of this earthly incarnation. When we come to neutrality, then we want to hold compassion. And so you're taking the darkness, you're healing it with love and light. This is how the system works. It's genius. So when we cast love and light onto these past traumas, it actually opens up the energetic node system, which is, remember that ley line in the meridian and the little vortex in the center? That's an energy node. It's a vortex. And so that vortex is also how we instantaneous teleportation across the galaxy using the energetic grid structure. So it's not instantaneous. It's acting like a UFO in order to teleport us. So that's like our spaceship, is what the star people are saying. Now, when we know that the energetic nodes open and activate, we need 144 to allow our frequency to rise into the 5D range. So all of the traumas that we walk through, it's like, yes, right? Because we go through and check, and we heal them all. And then all of a sudden, 144 energetic nodes. Who has 144 traumas? Right? We all do, for the most part, because every microsecond of your experience could have been encoded in a trauma. And so just allowing your conscious mind to go in and heal these things and send love and compassion, that's it. It's very, very, it is a process. It does not always come with a one and done. So sometimes we have to continuously focus on doing this. Now, this is also, I am offering an attachment master class that's coming up this Friday. There are still a couple seats left. Anybody who sends in crystals, you guys just send me a message. You're going to automatically get the Zoom link. So once you message me, and then all that stuff is on my Facebook. So we have the address to send in crystals to the crystal package. And then we do the attachment masterclass on Friday. So that's basically going to show us, and we're going to dive in. It takes normally a little over an hour, but the different types of attachments, different levels of attachments. Why do we get attachments? What even are they? They're energetic beings that latch onto us and they feed off of our energy grid. How we get them, how we get them off, how to make sure that we don't have any on us, and how to learn to sense if we have any attachments. Now, here's where the whole thing gets amazing, because all of the emotions that we have walked through, which is there's so many human emotions that everyone has experienced. The second that you understand the negative polarity of that emotion, It allows you to understand the positive polarity of that emotion. So you're sad. How does that feel inside your body? I'm not talking about, oh, I just feel sad. No, close your eyes and develop this relationship inside your body. How does the emotion of sadness feel? Do you feel any tension, any tightness, any pressure? Is there any energetic shifts inside of you? Do you feel like you have a lump in your throat? Anybody with a lump in the throat, say, get off and go home. That's how you discharge the attachment. It's an emotional feeling. The emotional feelings, the range of attachments that is on this planet, it's like billions. It's billions. Because you can just imagine we have location ones that stay in one location. So like, let's say you go into a haunted house and you feel like something is draining your energy. That's a location attachment. We have experiential attachments. Those trigger different experiences, like you losing your keys. That's the attachment making it so you can't see. Yes, they are real entities. Yes, they can trigger our brain waves. And so our sight of vision is technically a brainwave patterning, because everything that you see, it has to register inside the brainwaves. So if you are unable to actually see an item and you know for a fact that item was on your table, it could potentially be an attachment blocking the brainwaves, not allowing you to see the item. Genius, the way the whole system works. So we're going to dive in and we're going to teach you guys how to clear them, how to recognize what they are. You guys, any advanced healers, you could take this information, take it to the next level and start healing on clients, right? So we go over all the precautions and everything, as well as the star people always step forward and they watch and they guide you guys while you are doing it. So it is of great value to come to the attachment class. There is a limited amount of seats left, so we do have a bunch of people going already. So once again, that's Friday, I believe 6 p.m. So the 23rd of June. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. Emotions and the energetic grids was the next topic. So imagine for 1 second, there are some people on this planet who they have the potential of the eyesight is unlocked. When their eyesight is unlocked, they can see your aura field. Now, your aura field, many times people just see the coloring. And that's because the eyesight is only giving them access into the first degree of the energetic grids. You can see the color radiating outside. The second degree is actually seeing the sacred geometry of the grid. Every single chakra system has its own grid. They're all overlapping one another. Each one of them generates different distortions. I should say, your distortions in that chakra generates the perception of distortions in the physical reality. All of this is connected. So when people unlock the perception of the eyesight and they start to be able to see or sense into the energetic grids, they're going to be able to see what emotion codes you guys have stuck on. So what does that mean? Let's say, for an example, you have a traumatic experience happen to you. And when that traumatic experience happens to you, that emotion imprints into the grids. Now, when that emotion is imprinted, then all of a sudden, all of your actions and behaviors become changed in according to what traumas and emotions you're holding, right? So it changes who you are in the now moment, depending on what traumas that you're holding. So some people, we can come along and I can sense people's emotions and their densities inside of the grids. This is what I do. Now I can sense it and I can feel it. Oh, okay, there's a heart chakra blockage. And so what I want you guys to do is just take your hands. If you feel tension or tightness inside of your heart chakra, that's because we're about to go through and heal it. So take your hands in your heart and just imagine pulling this blackness out and just ever so gently throw it into a trash bin. That trash bin is going to be a void, so it's going to take it and it's going to transmutate it back into love and light. That's very simple. That's one step. Now, go a level deeper. When you start to see the entire energetic, you can sense the emotion code. You can sense the different area of the grid. Which chakra is it in? What age range did it happen in? All this information can be sensed. So when you start to come in, now all of a sudden, if it's a sad emotion, you can take happiness and you can cast the happiness over that emotion, which then in turn rebalances the entire energetic grid. So when we start to do things like, and it takes 2 seconds, it is really not a hard process to do. Many times in the beginning, the star people say, utilize song. Because when you can actually get the other person involved in their own healing, and so let's say you can utilize a song to trigger an emotion into that person. So we want to trigger the happiness in the person, cast a song of I love you, because that activates 3 different chakra centers, the third eye, the heart, and the solar plexus. Star people are saying when you do that, then all of a sudden you're triggering a love-based emotion in the person. And so now you could just consciously move or slide that emotion in them and just recast it onto the energetic grid where the sadness is currently located. This is also a very advanced healer's gift. You do have to work on the perception of the energy grids first. So you have to either be able to see it, sense it. Some people can sense just the emotion codes. That's okay too. Each and every one of us, we have different magnetism attunements. And so these attunements allow you to sense differently. We are all supposed to activate our gifts differently. And so you guys are supposed to have your attunements. I have my attunement. And then all of a sudden we learn from each other, because we're one collective. And so nobody is more valuable than another person. Each and every one of us is a puzzle piece to a grand puzzle. So we need all of us. So when each and every one of us starts to learn about ourselves, coming back into the self, putting the boundary rings, really sitting down and trying to activate our extrasensory abilities, then we take what we learned and we share it with other people. And then all of a sudden we develop schools, and those schools become like mystery schools. And then all of a sudden everyone is sharing and caring and teaching each other. And then bippity boppity boo, and the entire planet looks wonderful and green again. This is how it works, because the extrasensory abilities save us. Basically, just is very cut and dry. The second that we have the ability, and we already do, and we already see high frequency light workers on the planet, but the second that we can turn around, we can do a manifestation so that you're casting loving, care, and kindness at Mother Earth. And if we do this at a small plant in our house, it makes the plant grow 10 times its size. Well, what happens when we all go outside and we do this to each other, and then we do it at Mother Earth? Then all of a sudden, the entire Earth starts to grow. It starts to become green and lush. Mother Earth will clean up the oceans. Mother Earth will figure all this stuff out for us, or she will guide the consciousness in the correct path, the correct timeline, in order to heal humanity. We're not alone in this mission. The star people are ready, willing, and able to come and sit down and do meditations with humanity. We may not see them. They may be up in the craft. That's fine too. I know they're here. I can sense them. And so when we start to do different types of meditations in larger groups, they will sit down and they will meditate with us. They will also put a call out so that people on their home planets, and the star people are different planets. It's many, it's like the Federation. There's many different planets involved in the star people, but they will send a notification out to their home planets, and then all of those people will come and sit down and meditate with us. We are not alone by a long shot. So just is a beautiful experience to know that these guys are here. They want to help us. They want to raise the frequency of the planet. They really want us to go in and do the shadow work, to heal ourselves, to set the boundaries, to raise our frequency as much as we can. Now, a lot of times when we have to raise the frequency, it may not feel comfortable. That's okay too. We grow in discomfort. And that's another thing about the darkness and the light. Anytime that we have growth, there's always a degree of discomfort. It must happen like that. So when we start to come inside, we start to go through the uncomfortable. I had to quit smoking. That was very uncomfortable. I quit caffeine. That was uncomfortable, right? So certain things makes us uncomfortable. Sugar, that's another one. Now, all of the food that we eat as well, this is another great topic. The food we know contains emotions inside of it. And so different foods trigger different emotional responses. This works hand in hand with the memory grid complex, because if your mother baked chocolate chip cookies every single Christmas morning, when you smell chocolate chip cookies, it's going to trigger that memory of when you were a child, when you had those cookies. So that emotion of waking up, that excitement on Christmas morning with these cookies, it actually gets encoded into you. This is why rituals is very, very important, to start them early with your children. You can utilize smells. Different corporations utilize smells. If you guys have ever walked into like a Dave and Buster's, right? There's like a signature Dave and Buster's smell that they force you to smell. The second you walk in the door, you're like, wow. And what does it smell like? It smells like Dave and Buster's. There's nothing else like it. So, can you have an attachment that makes you fall or get hurt? Absolutely. That's actually an experiential attachment. We have attachments that can make you bang your head. We have attachments that make you get choked. They're experientials. And so any experience that we have, and we have the experience over and over and over again, that's always an attachment every single time. Even if it's a positive experience. And so this is where we call it summoning the angels, because when we have a positive experience, we don't call them attachments because there's a form of association with the negativity with the attachments. So we call it summoning the angels because they're higher frequency. But let's say, for an example, you win the lottery and it could be $1 on a scratch off ticket. This is just an example. When you start holding that ticket and jumping for joy, you could say, I summon an angel to win the lottery with me. And then all of a sudden, every time you scratch a scratch off, you're holding the emotion of joy and excitement. And there's going to be an energetic being, and it's like a form of an attachment, but it's an angel who hatches onto you and then helps you to achieve that emotion code of I won, right? And so we can summon positive attachments, and the negative ones are on us automatically. So many times we have the positive ones on us, we just don't realize. So take a look at what positive experiences are always coming at you, and then just be happy and grateful. I get in a good place and literally you physically fall. Yes. So that happens. I've heard that happen to multiple people, actually. I used to fall down the stairs. And so I know it's an attachment. You have to clear it. So say I just fell, get off and go home. Paige, you should come to the shadow work Zoom, which is right after the live. And then we'll focus on that for you, hon. Okay, everyone who wants to come to the Shadow Work Zoom, we do a complimentary one. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays as of right now. It's at 8:30 p.m. EST, so Eastern Time Zone. So that's in about 1 hour from right now. So what we do is it's completely random. It's all really guided by the star people. Plus, we ask the people what they want to do. So we can either focus on the chakras. We can dive into different attachments. There's tons of different things. Yeah. And so let's see. What do you mean? Do I have any rocks? Crystals? I have tons of crystals. So this one is a golden quartz healing crystal. This one is a magician's stone, Numite. And so Numite is a powerful manifestation stone. It's beautiful. Or you meant the crystal package. So yes, we do still offer the crystal package. I have a ton of Andorra crystals in. And so there's a bunch of different colors, greens, reds, yellows. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, the magician one, the Numite. I actually switched over to palm stones. And so the palm stones, I want to get gloves so that we can do Reiki energy healing. And then all of a sudden, it makes it so that you can still utilize the hands as you're doing it. It's beautiful. Okay. I'll see you in the next question. Summoning a crystal for healing. So this was one of the main reasons that I started the crystal program, is because I wanted to donate the majority of my crystals to other people, because over time you forget what the crystal is and then it sits on the shelf and then you have too many of them. And so this is the reason why we had people send in their crystals, and then I go through and re-cleanse all of them. We reprogram them. The star people activate them with DNA activations, and then we send them back out in a crystal care program. And so it was just a beautiful way of just sharing and caring as a collective to rotate the crystals that we want to share with other people. And so we had some really beautiful ones come in. Now we have Andorra ones. And so the Andorra ones are very, very special. They're very high in monoatomic minerals. So when you hold them, you can kind of feel it's a wonderful experience. So definitely. So summoning a crystal for healing. Now, this is important because when we have an energetic blockage, and so this can be in any aspect of our field, any emotion that's generating a distortion or like hitting our head, right? There has to be a blockage in the energetic grids in order to allow that experiential to manifest over and over again. So what we can do is we can drop into a meditation. Let's do it right now so you guys see how I personally do it. So just everybody take a deep breath in and release. Now I want you guys to feel into your body. Just feel ever so lightly. And I want you just to allow the higher self to give you a color of a crystal that you personally need for your individual healing. Just allow a color to come into your mind. I'm seeing like a silver in mine. It's like a gray silver. And now, just say ever so gently, thank you, universe, for gifting me the exact crystal I need in order to heal. Then I normally say, Amen. Usa, usa, usa. Amen means send it to the sun for manifestation. And usa means it is done. That's actually a martial arts term. So when we start to go in and we start to just allow the universe to give us what we need for us to heal, new crystals will magically find you. And I'm telling you, and it's not only by people mailing them in. Your crystal will literally, you'll be walking, or we actually go down to the creek and then boom, here's a crystal. Or the crystal will just show up. I had a seashell show up. Now the seashells too, seashells carry the frequency of the ocean. So many times when we engage in seashells, it clears the waters of the body because there's an attunement there to water. So depending on the actual item that we are holding, every single item, regardless of it's big or small, regardless of it's a crystal or not, this one is Pikachu. This is my favorite crystal. But each item holds a frequency. And so that frequency, we only have to hold a crystal for less than 1 minute in order to absorb the frequency coming off the crystal. That's how quick it takes. So if you guys need an attunement from a crystal, you can even go walk into a crystal shop. You could just put your hands on them. Just walk around and hold the one crystal for about a minute and then just put it down and see how your body feels. Many times when we have density or distortion, you may even feel something lift off you. That could potentially even be an attachment, because sometimes the attachments, they don't like certain crystals because the crystals are like kryptonite to them. So, but it depends on which attachment it is. We know crystals can be positive to humans, but it can also be negative to humans. So different crystals have radiation, for an example. So now we're starting to see or sense there's a whole polarity behind crystals. We are the positive range, and then there's a negative range. There's extrasensory crystals as well. There's very rare crystals. The star people are saying right now, there's very rare ones on the planet that are pre-programmed with consciousness inside of it. Now, what this means is a person in the day of Lumerius's time was able to sit down with a crystal and cast or project a replica of their consciousness into such crystal, which then in turn, they would take that crystal and then they would hide it or bury it or give it back to Mother Earth with a manifestation that the correct person at the correct time would find this crystal. Even if the crystal was found and it went from person to person to person, the crystal would synchronistically be gifted to the person it needed in order for that person to sit down and absorb the consciousness of the person from the ancient world, which is basically like unlimited access into their memory grid structures, is what the star people are saying. Now, this is very important because this is like, it's almost a crystal keeper attunement. However, he's saying it does not necessarily have to be. It just, that crystal is going to find somebody. So, which is beautiful. So whenever you guys have crystals that are gifted to you, you should always sit down with them first and try and sense and see what's going on inside the crystal, even before you clear it or program it. You want to sense what is inside of it. Now, of course, this has a lot to do with your belief systems. Do you believe it? Do you know it? Have you had experiences with it? Can you sit down with the crystal And can you ask the crystal, tell me your history? Just, you have to sit quietly with the crystal. You could hold it up to your head. That's okay too. You could take the crystal, you could throw it in your pocket, and you could say, when you're ready to talk to me, give me your history. Show me. Let me see. And then all of a sudden you close your eyes and you may see the crystal forming or being birthed inside Mother Earth. And then you may see a spark of light as someone is digging up that crystal. And then you may see it tumbling around in a rock tumbler. And then, this, you're going to think that it's like your imagination, but it's actually the crystal projecting that memory grid into your memory grid, which allows you access to see all time and space connected with that crystal. This is how this works. It is not only with a crystal, you could do it with a pen. Show me the entire lifetime and the entire memory of this pen. How are you built? How are you made? And then when we really start to get deep, this is all a form of remote viewing, the star people are saying. We can remote view any time and space of any physical item, person, place, or thing. So when we start to know this, we can sit down with inanimate objects, because the inanimate ones are the easiest to do. They don't move, so we can tell exactly where they've been. And we start to download and allow the memory to come in. This is of high value because now all of a sudden, let's say, for an example, you moved up to a conscious being. You can see inside their memory grid. Now, of course, this has to be done with a certain degree of do no harm to other people. And so whenever you have brief accesses into someone else's memory grid, you should treat it with the utmost privacy and respect, because you never know who's watching. The extraterrestrials are watching all of us. Every being, every person on this planet, they watch us. So they, everything is there. And if they're not watching you in the now moment, it's in your memory grid. Every thought, every emotion, it's all encoded inside of you. So we don't get away with anything. They see everything. So it really makes you want to be on your best behavior. And so always do the right thing and always be of high moral standing to yourself and to the people around you. Besides the fact that the karma, it backlashes on us too. So whenever we cast any sort of negativity, it comes back at us tenfold. Now, because of the frequency of the sun, this whole process has been happening more rapidly, which basically allows us to see that cast back happening. It's like lightning speeds. And so I've noticed this in my own personal life too. When, bad is done to me or cast upon me, for whatever reason, it comes right back tenfold. Now, whenever bad things do happen to us or it is cast upon us, we always want to drop in and thank the universe for the experience. It transmutates any negative emotions that we may have potentially experienced during that casting. So let's say, for an example, somebody wished you harm and then you got hurt. While you were getting hurt, you may have fired off the emotion of, whatever it is. And then when you regain yourself, and it's not about not doing it, right? The process of evolution, it doesn't matter if you fire off the emotion. We're human. We're supposed to use all of the emotions. What matters is your rebound rate. So yeah, you stubbed your toe, you may have screamed and cursed, that's fine, but now you rebound rated, and now you're focused more on not cursing anymore and raising your frequency, right? How fast was that rebound rate? Was it a microsecond? Did you catch yourself really quick? That's what counts. It doesn't matter if you got emotional, where you're supposed to get emotional. That's okay too. For right now, in this particular level of our evolution, in the future, we won't have to worry about it. Things are going to change. But for right now, it's the rebound rate that counts. Now, when we start to recognize that, it's like, okay, send it love and light, and we transmutate the experience. Because when we transmutate it, we say, oh, it's okay. Thank you for the experience. We are not sending off a negative frequency to the experiential. And so if there is an experiential attachment latched onto us that wants to make us hit our head a million times, right? Well, that attachment didn't get fed. We discharged it. And so that's it. Hopefully it stops that cycle repeat from coming, so that, that's it. That's how we do. It's how we roll. We heal, we grow, we get smarter, and then we take full control of our energetics and the way we manifest. This is key, because we can manifest a heaven right here on earth. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to shift or any timelines. That's happening automatically. The second that we can grow and cultivate our own paradise in our own house, in our own life, with our own people, our own humans that are here around us, the second that we have paradise in our life, remember that paradise reflects out. And so when we have unlimited energy in our lives and we fill ourselves with love, peace, and bliss, that peace and bliss radiates out to all the people that we interact with. It reflects out in the energetics. We can cast the energy far and wide as soon as we put conscious focus and attention on it. There's so many different things that each and every one of us are gifted to do. It's just a matter of putting our focus and attention on it. You can't put your focus and attention on doing these things if you're stuck watching a cell phone all day, right? You have to take a break from the technology, pull yourself out of it, and refocus on doing these tiny little things, even if it takes a baby step process. A lot of us have the addictions to the technology. That's okay too. Take 5 minutes while you're out of the technology for 5 minutes. Go see a sunset, right? Go send love and light to the sun. Go send love and light to Mother Earth while you're spending 5 minutes outdoors getting some fresh air, right? Just take your time and just really enjoy this now moment, being a human in this experience. Because what I'm telling you guys, we have the potential to manifest like heaven on this planet, and it's coming. It's going to happen. The star people have already confirmed with me, and they have told me that we won. We already ascended into 5D. The timeline is already there. Now it's up to us to hold that love-based emotional frequency and allow us to tune into that timeline for manifestation. So it's like an attunement. We have to change our magnetism to excitement, joy, bliss, and I love everyone. And then all of a sudden, it gets cast back at us because what you put out, it comes back at you. So when you believe that we are actually able of achieving these things, we are not some corporation. We are not the government. We are stay-at-home moms. We are the bakers. We are the mail people. We are the 99% of the planet. This is where the change needs to happen, not the 1% who think that they're in control of us. The change has to start with us, and it has to start inside the heart. Because when your heart opens wide and it tells you you have to treat each person around you like they're your family, you have to have respect for them, you have to treat them the way that you want people to treat you, then you're the one who brings that change into the world. And monkey see, monkey do. Because when you go out into the world and you're nice to people, other people see you being nice and helping and holding the door open or picking up litter, and then it changes their perception and they're like, oh, maybe I should do that too. Now, you guys can hear, you can watch in China. There, it was a TikTok, and the TikTok had a 4-year-old walking to school, getting on a subway and doing all sorts of things on her own. That would never happen here in the United States today, not in the future, but today. And so, but what happens is all the adults around, they know it's part of their responsibility to watch the children, because the children is not just, it's everybody's job to take care of children. It's all of us. We see something going on with the child, right? You take care of the child. It's 4 years old. And so when we start to open that level of consciousness of we are going to take care of each other, nobody's going to starve. So long as I have food in my cabinet, nobody around me will ever starve. And I've gotten into actual arguments with people over this. They're like, well, emergency food and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to feed all the neighbors because that's me. That's my heart. And you know what? At the time, I was like, God will just give me more food. That's all. And guess what? My cabinets were never empty. That's how we should be. We should be more open to seeing each person in this world as if they are us. And how do we want to be treated? And so we share, we care. And then the universe will actually unlock your abundance so fast when you share and care and you're not afraid to give your stuff away. So give it all away and the universe will bless you tenfold. That's how this works. So this is also a form of energetic casting, because when we start doing kind things for the external world, this is each person in your reality is a part of your energetic grids, but it's on the external grids. So the grids that are outside of the body, it's not the internal circumstances grids, it's the external circumstances grids. So when we start shining love and light to the externals, that external, it changes in frequency, and then all of a sudden it can change the entire location ring. The location ring is encoded for everything that you see in your world, your people, places, and things, everything in your location is by casting positive energy into that ring, which includes taking care of the people on the outside of you. This is what it's known to be: service to the collective. You are more focused on the outside rings of the energetic grids. When you are service to the self, many times a fear-based trauma must come into play to allow the perception to shift into the internal circumstances. The internal circumstances, the first layer of it, you're going to feel underneath the skin. And so this is what we know as internal shelling. It's when someone gets so traumatized that their energy grid shrinks inside of themselves. There's 3 different levels to this. The heart shade level is when you come all the way into the heart, and then it's service to the self because you have blocked off the heart chakra. This is how the energetic grids work. Now, the second we become aware, oh, okay, you have a heart trauma. Okay, well, let's release that. Let's clear it, right? How does it make you feel? It may take multiple sessions. That's okay too. But we go in, and what we start to do is we start to rebalance the focus of the perception. And it may teeter-totter. It may take 7 years. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not always easy. But when we talk about healing trauma, you just have to make the first step. And then the rest of the steps will manifest into a synchronistic path in order to guide the individual along the journey that they were meant and designed to have. That's how the physical reality works. It's brilliant. It happened to me too. I've been through extreme trauma. So everything I needed, it just seemed to come right at the right time. And now it's allowed my perception to change to everything that I need in the now moment is going to come to me in the now moment, and I'm just not going to worry. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to strive. I don't have to drive a Ferrari, right? Like, that's illogical anyway. I have kids. So they would trash that car in a day. But when we start to really open up to, I have everything that I need. Now, what do we need? Right? When you've binge shopped all of the stores when you were younger, it's like we did all that junk, right? We did the Black Friday shopping and all of the things. We've done that. We've been, how does it make us feel? Right? Your house gets cluttered with all the stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, that's not good enough. There's got to be more. That's the reason why we tend to go on a spiritual journey, because that materialistic side of the physical world, there has to be more than that. That is not enough to keep us satisfied for our entire lives. There has to be more to life than just material stuff. Now, the second that you come down the spiritual path is the second that you start to realize the physical items, it doesn't even matter. None of that matters, because it's all an illusion anyway. Because the second that you're very happy and healthy, and that's today's card, right? Today I am happy. Right? The second that you become very high frequency is the second that all of your needs fall into your lap. So was all that struggle and strife, what was it good for? Right? Nothing. So when we start to come from this perspective and we realize what's the most important thing in this life? What is the one thing that makes us feel so good when we do? The answer is 9 times out of 10, it's helping other people. So how does that make you feel? Right? When knowing that you helping other people or just bringing a smile to someone's face, if you're a painter and you paint a painting and you give it away, and then the person you give it to, their smile lights up and they feel warm, what you've just done is there's an energetic exchange from their heart to yours, and it makes you feel wonderful inside, because now they've just brightened your day because they love and they treasure something that you have made for them. And so when we start to live our lives around that notion, we are meant to be doing good things for each person around us. We are meant to be giving our gifts to the world. This is why people always tell you too, follow your highest passion, give it away. I spent a good couple of years since 2019 writing all these posts and giving them all away on Facebook. It took me a very long time to finally get to the level I'm at. That's okay too. But I started giving it away for free. And so this is what I want you guys to do. It doesn't mean quit your job. Of course, everyone has the bills to pay and stuff. But that means, what is your highest passion? Start doing it and give it away to people. Start giving it away because you want to make them feel good, right? And then all of a sudden, the universe is going to be like, look at that energy exchange. that person casted love at this person because they gave something. So there was an energy exchange between both. Even if there was no money, it was an energetic exchange. So when we start doing that, the universe is going to give you more and more of that experiential, because you're going to summon one of the angels, because the angels love when there's positive energy exchange. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, when we break it down and we see the physical reality for this is the way it works, it's like, wow, this is genius. Okay, let's see. What time is it? 7:55. Okay, so we have to end in 5 minutes because we do have the shadow work Zoom is coming up at 8:30. We'll do one more question. We have time for one more question. Okay. Let's see. Okay, channeling and fully bonded telepathy, and what's the difference? Now, this was important because some people wanted to know how I channel, because I'm channeling, it's actually every moment of my life, because the Arcturian that I channel personally, he's fully bonded and integrated with me. So that means that he can push his consciousness forward. He can actually make my body move. He can make my eyes move. There was this one time he made one of my eyes crooked, and I was like, stop. It was so funny. And so, but telepathy, when you first start activating your telepathic abilities, you have to drop into meditations and you have to frequency match the being that you are trying to make contact or communication with. That is how most telepathic communication starts. So it starts by opening the heart chakra, going into a love bliss emotion, because we always want to channel positive beings, never negative ones, but negative ones are available to channel too, and it's only an experience. I've done that once when I was a kid. I had no idea what I was doing, but they latched right in, and then they told me a scenario which the world was going to end. So it was quite an experience. But when we start to really tune in and we start to frequency match the higher frequential beings, these are usually angels or ascended masters. A lot of you work with the ascended masters, or like the Violet Collective, the star people are saying, the Magdalene Collective, they channel through a lot too when I channel them. So when we start to really come in, we could frequency match and we can call or frequency coax certain beings or collective consciousnesses to come through and give us information, give us knowledge. They're only allowed to give us what we frequency match. So for example, if our consciousness is at a certain level and we are not focused on doing the shadow work and raising our frequency, we get stuck at that level. And so they come down to frequency match with us a tiny bit. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot. But they frequency match with us, and they're only allowed to give us what we're ready and capable of digesting. So if they came in and they gave us some information that we had no idea what it was, it would be pointless. So they're not allowed to do that. They have to give us information that we're going to be able to use. That includes writing the information down, so long as because this is what the star people are saying, if one person on the planet is understanding of the information, it may be downloaded into a secondary individual's complex, which is fine, because then even if they just write it down, the collective consciousness was ready for it. And so they could put it in a book, they could put it out, and then all of a sudden the people who have an attunement to pick up that book, they'll read the book and then they will expand the knowledge further. But the knowledge has to be downloaded. It has to be available to express into the human consciousness grid itself. Now, when we say one person, we mean three. For all thought forms are always downloaded into three individuals at the current moment of absorption, he's saying, which is wonderful. Okay, excellent. So we do want to just ever so graciously thank the star people for the channeling tonight. So we say thank you, star people, with many love and blessings for coming forward and for sending us all the brilliant information. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And okay. So we also are doing in-person live events this summer. I will keep you guys up to date on Facebook. So a couple live events. We are going to be doing one in the fall around Dewey Beach, Delaware. We are going to be doing one in Long Island. So that's coming up maybe in like a month. So I will keep you guys posted. Look for DanielleLipton.com for those retreats, because the tickets are going to sell out fast because we're only allowing 10 and under to come. And there's 2 days for the Long Island session. So anybody who wants to come, you guys can come and see me and meet me. We are going to be focused on releasing attachments. We're going to be focused on like sound healing. There's a whole ton of healing modalities. Not only that, but I could dive right into your energetics and clear a bunch of stuff really fast. So it's of high value to each and every person who wants to show up. It's going to be amazing. Plus, we'll have like salad and stuff. It'll be fun. Delaware State, yes. Google Dewey Beach. That one is coming in the fall. And so the one on Long Island, New York, is coming like in a month. So I will have all the information on Facebook. So you guys will get to see. Yeah, the sessions as well. So the people who are on the current Shadow Work Zooms, I did offer a discount code, $100 off a session. So I'm going to give it to you guys here as well, but there's only 5 left. There, we already used more than half of them. So the discount code is discount333. So it's the word discount and 333. That's good for $99 off any session whatsoever on DanielleLipton.com. So yeah, you guys sign up. If you want to have an attachment session, we dive in deep. We pull all the attachments off. It's a very clean, energetic feeling when you are done. And then not only that, but I leave you guys with the knowledge of how to do it yourself so that you can continuously keep focusing and release them. Yeah, the Delaware one is right on a beach. So I'm really excited for that one too, because then we'll be able to have a little nighttime maybe where we can see if the UFOs will come by. So fingers crossed. Hopefully they do. But it'll be amazing. So once again, and we have the attachment masterclass that's coming up this Friday, 6 p.m. So the attachment masterclass seats are limited. Anybody who wants to send in crystals for the crystal program, the address is P.O. Box 56, Emmaus, Pennsylvania, 18049. You guys can just send them to Danielle Lipton. And then send me a message and I will send you the link for the attachment masterclass. So we have a ton of fun things happening this summer. Absolutely great. If anyone is in Emmaus, Pennsylvania or surrounding the area and you wanted to do a one-on-one session or even like a nature walk where we talk all day and have a day, send me a message. So this is another thing I'm going to be starting this summer is nature walks. And so walking next to a creek and talking about all the spiritual knowledge. And of course, we're going to be doing energetic clearings and all sorts of fun things. So it'll be amazing. Anybody who wants to come to the Shadow Work Zoom, send me a message and I will send you the Zoom link. That Zoom link is good for every single Shadow Work Zoom that we do. There is no cost because together we rise and we should be healing together as a community. So come and join me. And for now, you guys have a wonderful evening and many, many love and blessings. Okay.